Hey Leo, how's it going? So this is going to be your reading for May 2017. My name is Dre. Uh, if you want a reading, email me. If you want to follow my Twitter, please do so. So yeah, let's get started. So you guys had experienced the Taurus new moon in your 10th house, around your 10th house, I think. Um, yes. So, pretty much what you guys, I feel like a lot of you guys are coming to understand or starting to realize heading into May is that some of you might have, I want to say probably some of you feel like you might have been slacking in an area of your life pertaining to your career or how you want the public to perceive you, your outside persona. And I feel like that's been very important for you guys. And out of all the signs, you guys haven't had it as hard astrologically, um, or really in the tarot sense, for as long as I've done these videos, because it's mainly about how you guys are trying to better yourselves to sort of reap in rewards. Because there's aspects to how you, I feel like to how you guys relate to people that has sort of come under, is coming under scrutiny. You know, and that's true of every sign for the most part, but especially the cardinal sign. So some of you, if you have, like, let's say you're on the Cancer cusp, or if you have a lot of Libra, Aries, or Capricorn in your chart, I feel like some of you guys have been sort of facing this crisis in terms of recognizing aspects of yourself that need to change and parts of yourself that need to be sort of improved upon, so you can like let go of certain things. This spread is the Golden Thread Tarot. I'm not doing reversals in this deck because I don't think they need to be reversed. But so yeah, sort of understanding, like sort of like I feel like, you know, Leo, the gift that Leo has, or that the Leo energy presents itself with, is that you guys are very comfortable and familiar with your place in the world, and that you guys know that you should shine in some part of your life, that you guys should be able to freely express yourself. And of course, that all depends upon, you know, your birth chart and all that stuff. But in general, the Leo energy is very like that. And I feel like with this Taurus new moon, that's sort of getting you guys more focused on that mindset, more focused on that drive, and or not so much the drive, but the practical steps that need to be taken. Taurus themselves aren't really having an easy go at this time period either, but theirs is more soul work. You guys might have to do some of that soul work, but we'll see as I go into this reading. But at the end of the day, I feel like most of you guys, it's more about presenting a better version of yourselves, a version of yourself that is sort of open to other people's criticisms, other people's thoughts, or whatever, and not being too, you know, caught up in sort of an idealized version of yourself in relation to other people. That's how I feel. The Leo energy is generally very people oriented. I mean, you guys can be sort of on your own too, but I feel like for some of you, it's more about how to sort of make that, you know, because you guys are ruled by the sun, sort of make that sunlight energy that comes from you guys sort of more the best version of that. You know, not anything that's sort of compromised by other things. So anyway, long story short, let's get to the Page of Wands, which was at the bottom of the deck. We have Death. You guys have a lot of major arcana, actually. We have the Seven of Pentacles, Justice, Three of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Hermit, the Hangman, King of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. So very, very interesting deck here. Let me pull a card right here. We have the Wheel. So how many major arcana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in the main spread, and then the Wheel of Fortune. So like over half this reading for the most part, or about half. So when I was speaking about you guys sort of like coming more into your own, coming more into an aspect of yourself that is sort of more truer with your inline, with your core beliefs, because that's what Taurus is. Taurus is the least, the energy itself is the least fussy, least bullshittiest sign, because Taurus is essentially just what you see is what you get. That sort of energy, you know, the earth. Some say Taurus can be ruled by the earth, and I believe that. I pulled the Empress just for further clarification, so even more major arcana. And the Empress is abundance, and we have 2 3s here. So I feel like with a lot of you guys, you want to take a new leap. You want to be able to actually sort of. I feel like for some of you, this has been in the process. Some of you are like you've started something new, or you have your eye set on something new happening. And, you know, we're getting into the summer months, which is pretty much culminated by Leo, Cancer and Leo, which sort of rule this time of the year, to me at least. And so I feel like for a lot of you, it's all about sort of recognizing what needs to be shed. Where have you been for the past year, essentially, that hasn't really worked out for you? And I know eclipse season is coming, or the full moon in Taurus, the full moon in Scorpio is going to be affected by the previous eclipses or something. You know, I'm not really that much of an astrologer, but that's going to be an important period for you guys as well. Taurus and Scorpio square you guys. So it's all about sort of coming face to face, being able to see a situation head on that's sort of self-limiting, and not to sort of talk yourself down from it, or talk yourself out of it, or convince yourself that what's immediately obvious to you isn't necessary. Because I feel like some of you guys have an idea, or you have plans, you have desires, you have ambitions, you have goals, you have dreams. But it's more like trying to focus that energy, recognizing that energy first, and being able to like sort of capture it. With the High Priestess here, as well as with Death, we can't really hide from these energies. The High Priestess knows everything. Death stops for no one. Metaphorical death. And that, you know, there are just parts of ourselves that need to die. And when they die, you know, when I say die, I mean like transform, because Death represents Scorpio. And Scorpio is the full moon is actually a couple days away from when I'm recording this. And so it's mainly about sort of being able to like sort of own up to things, and own up to an aspect of yourself that you might not necessarily have given much credence to, or that you didn't really consider was a problem, was something that was getting in your way. Because I feel like this entire process, you want to start something new, you want to start something fresh, you want to be able to bring in a lot of money, bring in a lot of opportunity, bring in a lot of, some of you want to get pregnant, some of you want just a stable household, some of you just want something that you can just sort of hold on to and claim it as yours, and have the returns keep coming back to you. You know, we all do. But you can't sort of hide yourself from what is actually getting in your way. You can't, excuse me, you can't really continue going on without at least reflecting and at least trying to get to the bigger problem, the deeper issue, and that there's probably something about you, or there's probably something about your situation that just needs to be refined. That needs to just be addressed, because since I'm not doing reversals, I have to read it both if it were the positive sort of energy and the negative sort of energy, which, whatever, that's not really reversals to me, but that's the easiest way to describe it. In that, reversal's more of like it's a harder lesson, it's a harder energy to sort of deal with some of the time. Anyway, because of that, we can't, if we let things stay past their welcome, if we let things sort of just collect dust, if we just sort of forget about things, that if we just leave a problem sort of like linger in the background without sort of acknowledging it, that can really sort of hinder where we need to go going forward. It can hinder our progress. It can hinder our progression. We have the Seven of Pentacles here in the Hermit. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is because of all the major arcana here, I feel like this is probably, I was saying earlier that astrologically things aren't that bad for you, but I feel like at least on a personal level, what you're trying to understand is that, because when I see the Seven of Pentacles, I think like you feel like that you're either trapped, or that you're working to no avail, or that, especially if you don't have a clear goal, if you don't have a clear plan. But since it's paired with the Hermit, I'm getting the sense that for a lot of you, or for some of you, I should say, it's an energy that is more, you won't understand. You need a long time, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. You need time to actually reflect. You need time to gather your thoughts. You need time to be able to create a game plan, create a game plan, create a goal set for what you want to do, especially if you don't have a goal. Because for some of you, you might just be going with the flow, going through the motions. But I'm really getting at, with this time of the year, especially with these moon cycles, if not with the other planets, especially with the moon, with the new moon in Taurus and the full moon in Scorpio, I feel like you feel things are sort of off, or you feel things that are sort of upsetting you on the inside, things that you haven't addressed, things that you haven't really talked about, things that you haven't put into action, things you haven't put to plan, because you've sort of probably ignored that aspect of yourself. I'm not sure what's been taking up your time, but I feel like either way, some part of you just wants a clean break, either in the realm of like the people you're talking to, or in the realm of where you're working, or in the realm of your love life. It's just that, these are incredibly general. But again, with this wheel here, it's more, we have two tens. Let's see. We have a few cards in order. We have the High Priestess and the Empress, and we have the Hermit and the Wheel. So it's like, as well as Justice and Hangman, all those cards go in order, specifically the Hermit into the Wheel, into Justice, into the Hangman. Wow, and then Death, that's 13. Oh, geez. This is very interesting, Leo. And then, of course, we have the High Priestess, which is 2, and the Empress, which is 3. 2 threes, 3 pentacles. I feel like for a lot of you, I feel like this process is more common sense than you're making it out to be. Don't get too hung up on overthinking things or trying to it's important to stick to a plan. It's important to understand where you're going, what our trajectory is, what we actually want to do, where we want to take that. But we can't get too hung up on too many of the details we can't control, which I feel with this hermit energy as well as with the wheel, we have to just push these things forward. We need to be able to and unafraid to look deep within ourselves and ask ourselves those tough questions. Death, to get to take away the pretense, to take away the preconceived notions. You know, and some people go through their whole lives without once facing up to their darkest fears, or once without facing up to the things that pain them the most, or the questions that haven't been asked, and the answers that haven't been given. Some people are totally fine doing that. Totally fine. Totally fine doing that. But, you know, I see you guys watching this video, if you're watching it for yourself and not for somebody else, you know, whatever, however you're watching these videos, you have to be unafraid to sort of ask yourself those questions, because ultimately, if you don't ask yourself those questions, I feel like you're not doing what tarot was meant to do, was how it's meant to function, which, as the Mariel Tarot described in the book that came with it, you know, the divine ambiguity, the divinely ambiguous, and that we are put here on this earth for many reasons. People feel like they have just different things, different ways of doing things, but with me personally, I feel like we're here to at least discover the truth about ourselves, and we're here to uncover the best aspect of ourselves and put that onto the world in whatever way we feel is necessary. At least for the short time that we're here. You know, fuck the bullshit, just do what you want to do. As long as it's legal and healthy and helping you or whatever. But whatever, it's like, you know, we're here to just live out our soul desire. We're here to put our seed into the earth, something that will live beyond us in some way. And I feel like, you guys, it's important for you. I'm not sure where that message came from, but I feel like it's necessary here with all these cards that go in sequential order. You can't be afraid to sort of put yourself out there and sort of do something that you normally wouldn't have considered. And I feel like that coming to this decision is going to be tough for you because, again, with the Justice card here, I feel like some of you guys, when I think of the Justice card, I think of like past karma, past incidences, sort of the status quo, really, and how we've been sort of ingrained to follow set roles, and how that in itself is karma. The fact that a lot of us go back and do the same things, or a lot of us refuse to sort of break out of our shell, or refuse to take action, or refuse to take that leap, or don't want to, or we're too busy. It's easier being complacent, or it's easier. I feel like this is like huge, like existential karma, in that, yeah, I'm surprised that Hierophant isn't here, because you know, we've been there. I'm sorry. There are choices that we need to make, and there are choices that we have to understand are through no fault of anybody else. You know, we can blame others, and we can sort of point fingers, or we can sort of, you know, feel like that everybody has it out against us, or that nobody really understands what we're going through. But that's only because you haven't really been in that mode of asking yourself these questions, of trying to get to the bottom of why you feel a certain way, or why your ex did that, or why you don't like the people at your job, or whatever. Because I feel like if we're at least able to ask those questions, and if we're at least able to sort of get to a different way of thinking about it, changing perspectives, all of that was a big way of saying that a lot of you just need to change your perspective. A lot of you really could benefit from really seeing the other side of something, from seeing things in a different way, from seeing things in a way that you never thought you would, you know. And I'm not saying that you should change your entire outlook on life and everything immediately overnight. It doesn't happen that way, but in little tiny ways, it can help you. Especially if it's something that needs to end, like if it's NX, or if it's like personal drama or something, or if it's just like some of you really probably need to talk to a therapist. It's mainly that energy because the world is moving on without us, and the world doesn't care. Karma or justice here, which I see it as karma, like natural, universal karma, things that, sort of like the high priestess doesn't care about who you are and where you came from. It's just that our actions have consequences. Actions before we were born, even actions after we're born. All of those have or after we're born, after we're dead. all of those things have all of those things have consequences, and all of those things have things that led up to that, instances that led up to that. And so I feel like going forward, again, what I said earlier about you guys trying to reconnect with people, reconnect in a way that, for some of you, this could be just as easy as like you're probably just going through a divorce, or you guys are trying to, you and somebody else are like dividing assets. There's a broken household that I feel like some of you can actually, if you put the power within yourself to actually sort of wield control of this situation and try to do something about it in a way that sort of is fair, I don't see how you guys can fail. But anyway, if that's not the case, I do see that some of you really need to sort of master your communication skills, master your authority, master your leadership. The King of Swords is traditionally Aquarius. Aquarius is your opposite sign. So what Aquarius can learn from you guys can learn from Aquarius. In that, it's okay to be objective. It's okay to not sort of entertain everybody, to sort of please everybody, to sort of be everybody's friend, because some people you just can't. Some people serve a function the way that Aquarius would see it. Some people just serve a necessary function in our lives. Some people are friends, some people are coworkers, some people are business associates. And whereas the Leo energy might want to blend all the three, an Aquarius wouldn't. And so it's more of that energy where it's okay to sort of, take a step back and recognize who is worth something in your life, who has value, and who doesn't. And that, that again could be anybody, family, friends, lovers. It's all about us trying to get to a different place in our lives where we're able to move more freely, where we can not be afraid to sort of address things that hurt, and because Scorpio, again, the full moon in Scorpio squares Leo, unless you have a lot of Scorpio, or a lot of water in general, it would be very hard for you to sort of get to those depths, to willingly go down there to those depths. You guys would have to be shown it. Somebody would have to do something to you that would make you pause and reflect. And maybe something will happen. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like regardless of what happens, it would be important for you guys to sort of go within and sort of answer those questions that you haven't been ready to fully address. So that when we do go into Leo season, you guys will be reborn and refreshed. And that you won't have these struggles, and you won't have these burdens, and you won't have this stress. Because I feel like, and again, I said the astrological thing might not be that hard for you guys, but again, that depends on what other planets you have, especially if you have a lot of cardinal energy. Any other energy really besides Leo, because some of you just might be feeling this personally. Some of you might have a lot of Leo or whatever, and these new moons and full moons are kind of throwing you off. And so try to get to the bottom of why that is, what that is. Because until we're able to sort of rebuild ourselves and, again, get ourselves pumped up for the summer and ready for Leo season, it's going to be more difficult for you guys to sort of come into that and sort of understand that. Or to really enjoy it in the way you should enjoy it, in the way you would want to enjoy it. So let go of the negativity. Let go of the past old beliefs. Let go of the things that you've just been just stressing yourself out about for no reason. Because Ten of Wands, that could be overly ambitious. That could be too dedicated to the people in your group of friends, your circle. Burning the candle at both ends, running yourself ragged, trying to please everybody. You need to become more objective. You need to say, well, you know what? I don't need you in my life, or I don't miss you at all, or I'm tired of you because all you do is do this and do that when I want to do this and do this. So, um, I feel like that would be something important to sort of understand going forward, you guys. So good luck with that, and I will see you guys later. So, yeah, adios.